This is my first video of a destruction class. I recently rolled a Shaman on the server Iron Rock. If you're curious as to why, you can read about that on my blog. So this is my rank 6 Shaman in a Cain's Embrace scenario. And you see I'm trying to keep a Witch Elf alive here who's taken some heavy focus fire. And at this rank, I've got two healing abilities, a Quick Bleeding, which is an excellent, very action point efficient hot, and I have the ability Gork'll Fix It. And one thing I'm having to do here to keep this Witch Elf alive is almost chain spam Gork'll Fix It, and the one reason why that's bad is it's AP inefficient. I'm overriding the hot portion of Gork'll Fix It, and in general you want to let your hots tick off fully because that's the most efficient thing for managing your action points. Here I'm healing a Disciple of Cain and a Chosen, and I'm careful to rotate my hots between them, and you can see timers in the middle of the screen, and those are from an excellent add-on called Aura, and what it allows me to do is track things like my hot timers to make sure, so I know how long I have until a hot's going to expire on a given player, so I don't overwrite an existing hot. And in between my hots, I try to work in a few damage spells here and there. I just got a kill there. So the way the Shaman class is designed, and this goes for the other ranged healing classes as well, is you can kite very effectively with it, so you can move and heal. It makes it a lot of fun to play the class. So in Tier 1, Shamans get a bubble, the rank 1 Divine Favor heal, the class-based hot, and these things enable a healer to keep other people alive while still moving. You get a kill there with a bunch of Wog, and we're just waiting for the Cain's Explosion to go off here. And I'm getting hammered by Bright Wizards, so I hug the wall here, break line of sight, hit my bubble, and heal up again. One nice thing about Shaman is they deal elemental damage, and in the higher tiers, order players tend to stack spiritual resistance to cut down on sorcerer damage instead of elemental damage. So the nice thing is all targets feel fairly the same softness to me. Doesn't matter. Really, what only matters is their resistance or toughness. So, but the nice thing is compared to doing, for example, physical damage, like a doc does a lot of, the damage for doc, for example, varies quite a bit when they're on a tank versus on other players, whereas, as a shaman, it doesn't matter as much. So here, taking some heavy focus fire from order players, I detaunted a Bright Wizard, and I'm being chased here by a Witch Hunter and an Archmage and an Engineer. So this is a 1v3, and you can notice when I'm kiting here, I'm strafing, running sideways, and this is to prevent giving up my back to the Witch Hunter, because I don't want his snapshot to snare me. And in general, this is something you want to do when you're kiting. Keep players in front of you in a 180-degree arc. All right, so here I'm getting hit pretty hard, and I hit my rank 1 morale heal, great burst heal, great emergency button. And what I'm doing is as I'm kiting, I'm getting healing from two abilities. Getting them from Bleed for Me, which is a damage-based hot, and from A, Quit Bleeding, using my bubble whenever it's up, and then every now and then I'll stop to cast Gork'll Fix It. So here I'd run around a rock, I'm trying to break line of sight. So when my health was low a minute ago, it's because I was out in the wide open, and here I'm moving and using line of sight to cut down on the amount of damage that the Archmage and the Engineer can do to me. So Bleed for Me is a great ability. It has a 10-second cooldown, but it lasts for 25 seconds. So you can actually have Bleed for Me up on multiple targets and get the hot-based component of it ticking, which I'll show in a minute. All right, so these order players can't kill me. I can't kill them either. If it's a 1v2, I might be able to kill one of them. Actually, in this particular case, with a rank 10 Shaman, or sorry, rank 10 Archmage, that's probably not going to happen. Chosen comes up, and we chase the order players away. So one thing I've noticed is that my Shaman, maybe because he's small, doesn't get seen as much. And it's not until I do things like cast Bunch of Wog that order players can very clearly see where I'm standing. But I killed a couple dozen order players outside the war camp just while I was recording this video footage. All right, so here I'm fighting an engineer, and he's almost out of range, so I put both of my dots on him, Life Lika and Bleed for Me, and in about 15 seconds, I'll get a kill notification that the dots got him. So, if a player's about to run out of range, it's good to refresh your dots, and hopefully they'll catch them. So here, Shadow Warriors try to kill me. So I hit my bubble, and I'm very careful to keep a quit bleeding up as much as possible. So as I said earlier, bleed for me, you can actually have it up on multiple targets. So here I put bleed for me on this gun turret. So I'm using it as a hot battery while inviting other order players here. And as soon as bleed for me is up, then I go ahead and put it on another order player. And you'll see, if you look at the text on the right side of my character, that I'm getting 2 sets of bleed for me hot ticks, which is really nice. And able to stay here at high health without having to stop and cast Gork'll Fix It. This is another footage of strafing away from melee players. So I've got a two-handed sword master chasing me and a warrior priest. So I detaunt the sword master. Detaunting is really critical. It just largely cuts down the damage that a player is doing. And I'm still strafing and trying to keep them in front of me. So I have either the sword master or the warrior priest snare. I'm not sure which one. But once the snare runs off, then I can sit here and kite. Now there's another warrior priest in, so this is 1v3. And every time I change directions and move around like this, I'm just trying to throw them off. And it creates a gap where they're not able to hit me except with range attacks, which don't do much damage. You can see here I'm able to stay consistently very high health. In a moment here, Witch Elf joins in, and the order players switch to focus fire on her, and I keep her hotted up. So far, Shaman's been a blast to play. The mechanics are great for kiting, which is something I really enjoy. And Shaman can pack a little bit of punch too with its elemental spells.